Hey guys, RTT back here for the video, guys. A lot of people have been asking me the same question. Can my PC handle a 30 series graphics card? And there's a lot to look at before we even get into the should you buy one or not, right? And obviously right now, if you want to buy one, you have to buy one on eBay for jacked up prices. But let's go ahead and say, theoretically speaking, right? The video came out tomorrow with all the graphics cards at a decent price. Can your PC handle one? Well, let's start off with the number one thing, and that's the motherboard. If the motherboard is not compatible with 30 series graphics card, then you're not going to be able to run one. That's just pretty much plain simple. Now, the 30 series GPUs, they utilize PCIe slot 4.0 times 16 when they are used. Now, does that mean you need a PCIe 4.0 slot? No. A PCIe 3.0 slot would do absolutely fine for the 30 series graphics cards. But you need to make sure your motherboard has one. Not every single motherboard has a PCIe 3.0 times 16 slot. Some of them do not. So, first off, look at your motherboard. And if you look at your motherboard and you see what this picture is showing right here looks like, then you are fine. You have a PCIe 3.0 times 16 slot. Now, if you don't, then bam, you can't. You can see on the board it says PCI Express 3.0. If you do not have one, you cannot run a 30 series graphics card. You either have to have a 3.0 or a 4.0. Now, again, like I said, yes, technically speaking, that the 30 series does take advantage of a PCI 4.0 slot. But at the same time, it's not a really big deal. It's still one fine on a 3.0. It's just if you have 4.0, you're even better. Now, after we get through that, I've gotten a question about the Creator PC. Can the Creator PC from NZXT run a 30 series graphics card? The answer to that question is yes and no. Because now we're getting to power supplies, and this is probably the most important thing other than your motherboard is your power supply. How much power do you need to run a 30 series graphics card? Starting off right away, if you are getting a 3070, you need at least, and this is bare minimum, keep in mind, bare minimum, 650 watt power supply. If you are trying to overclock the 3070, recommendation would be 750 watt power supply. If you aren't trying to overclock it and you're trying to run it at base, 750. But I always recommend if you are getting something and the recommendation is the minimum requirement is blank, always go a little bit above that. Always go a little bit higher than that, because if you don't, you could run into a lot of issues with not having enough power to supply your whole entire unit. So that is for the 3070. For the 3080, it is 750 watt power supply. That's the minimum requirement. 750 watt power supply. That's the minimum requirement. Trying to overclock it, 850 recommendation. 3090, same concept. It's even though you'd be surprised, you're like, well, 3080 and 3090 should be different powers, right? No, it's still requirement is minimum requirement for 3080 is going to go ahead and be a 3080 and 3090 is going to go ahead and be a 750 power supply if you're running an i7 or lower. So that's the thing. If you're running an i9, let's say a 9900K or a 110 900K or 900X, you need even more power than you would if you're running an i7. If you're running an i7, it's 750 base for both of them. If you're running an i9, it's still 750 base for 3080, but for 3090, the minimum requirement is an 850 watt power supply. So if you're running an i9 like the Creator PC, you need to change power supply in the Creator PC, and you're going to need to get a 850 watt power supply. So for example, my Creator PC, the one that ships from NZXT, does come with a 750 watt power supply. When I first saw that, I was kind of concerned, because I was like, that's cool and all, and that is the base minimum for a lot of graphics cards. But as time goes on, as technology advances, we're going to be seeing that an 850 is just not, 750 is just not going to cut it anymore. My other PC, the $5,000 PC I built back like 2 years ago, that has a 1,000 watt power supply. So that is overkill for both cards. But again, like I said, guys, if you are trying to overclock these cards, for example, even a NZXT Creative PC, you can't really overclock the 3080 too much, and you're definitely not overclocking the 3090 at all if you do have an NZXT Creative PC. Now, can you run it in the Creative PC? Yes, somewhat, I'd say. Its minimum requirement is 850 if you're using a 9.9, and the Creative PC does have a 9.9 processor. But I mean, I might try it one day and to see if it can handle it. It might not be able to. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But overall, guys, that is the PCU, what you need. Now, other than that, there's another thing that's very important, and it's going to be measuring your case. Because currently I think it's the 3090 is 12.3 inches long, 5.5 inches widthwise, and height is 2.2 inches. It uses up 3 PCLE slots, not the board slots, but the slots in the back of the board. I mean, back on the chassis, the case. So, if you are going ahead, of course, and buying this card, keep in mind, like for example, with the NZXT Creative PC, this bad boy would barely fit in there. It would literally be almost touching the bottom of the PC where the power supply is if you are using a 3090 NZXT. It would fit like lengthwise barely. It's a from the fans, the liquid cooling unit to the back of the case, it's a 13-inch length. So it would fit at 12.3 inches, but it'd be very tight, and you would be choking off some of the airflow of that PC. You could also, of course, run the PC vertically if you are using a PC bracket, but that thing is freaking huge. So if you're running that vertically, I mean, I think you probably should be investing in an anti-sag bracket too, because the thing is freaking heavy. Nonetheless, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe button down below. I want to go ahead and answer that question I got in the comment section. And also wanted to go ahead and just continue talk about 30 series. I'm very excited about this. Eventually, I will be picking up both 3080 and 3090. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.